Welcome back to the studio. I'm Alex Yemek. Now, today I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Russia gave 9 years to Brittney Griner. Now, for those of you who don't know, Brittney Griner is a basketball player for the women NBA in the United States. She traveled to Russia and they found out that she had some type of cannabis oil, some drugs that is not accepted in Russia. And she was arrested back in February, and the trial just ended, and she got 9 years. Now, she admitted to bringing illegal drugs to Russia. Now, let me give you the 3 reasons why Russia is being so tough on her. The first reason, they're using this as a political issue, sending a message to the Biden administration. And the reason is for why are they doing this? Is the way our politicians usually, look at other people's laws. They undermine other people's laws. They disrespect other people's laws, right? When she got arrested, they say she was unlawfully arrested. She's been unlawfully detained in Russia. Russia is saying, hey, look, she broke the law. The politicians in the United States believe, they think that whatever law that doesn't go with their own laws is not legal, right? So if it's not the US way, then it is not right. Because they decided that she's unlawfully detained, therefore Russian laws means nothing. This is exactly the message they are sending here. And it is very unfortunate because it is the regular citizen who are suffering. Now people traveling to Russia today, American people getting ready to travel to Russia have to think twice before they go, especially if you're a superstar, right? So the disrespect of other people's laws is exactly one of the reasons why Russia is doing this. Ever since she's been arrested, the Biden administration keep talking about she's been unlawfully detained. What about the fact that bringing drugs to Russia, whether intentionally or not, is breaking the law? What about that fact? Why is it that politicians in the United States cannot respect the very fact that Russian law forbids this type of action? Why are they loudly just disrespecting Russia? Now, we understand that they may be emotional and upset with Russia, about things that have been happening in Ukraine, right? We understand that, right? But still, this is diplomacy. This is the world, right? Countries have the right to, run their countries the way they want to. We have to respect that. We don't have a choice, specifically when we are the one needing something from them. Now, they're playing with this woman's life. She has a family, she has people that she needs to go back to, and politicians are playing with her life. Sometimes when you need something, you just have to be humble about it. What's wrong with just talking to Russia in a very humble way? Say, okay, look, we understand that's your law, right? Please, right? Don't make this issue a political issue. But this thing about constantly trying to show toughness, specifically, I understand we're in a year of an election, right? And so politicians, the way they act here in the United States, these Republicans and Democrats, you wonder at what point in time do they really care for people? They constantly do things for elections. We're in election year, so we have to show toughness. Biden has to show that he's a tough president, he's tough against Russia, and you're using this woman's case. Right? Something that could have easily been handled. They're saying, oh, well, we don't know if Russia is using this as a political issue. They are. I mean, it's obvious. They are. Right? And they are. They're sending you, politicians, a message. But see, you don't care. Because you continue to play, right, tough on issues where you don't need to play tough. Russia doesn't care about Britain spending 9 years there or not. You care more about it. So you are the one to be humble. Understand that those were Russian law and stop telling people that she's been unlawfully detained. Specifically when she admitted to have committed the crime. Even though she says she did not do it intentionally. Okay, we understand. But she admitted that she brought the drugs in there. I'm pretty sure if this was in the United States, you would have done the same thing. You would have, it probably wouldn't have been 9 years, but somebody would have been held responsible for that. So why is it that when Russia is doing that, is unlawful? Because you politicians, right, Republicans and Democrats in the United States, you don't recognize Russia's law, therefore it's unlawful. That's not true. It may be unlawful in the United States, Russian's law, right? But it's not unlawful in Russia where she's being detained. She's actually being detained there, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. She can spend 9 years there. In fact, they can decide to give her 20 years if they want to, and you will do nothing about it. That is what is true. So why not just be humble about it? That's where the question is. Why keep using, regular American citizens to try to make a point that you're tough, right? Look, if you're really tough, you don't have to show it. We're gonna see that. Politicians constantly looking for, small issues and making it a big deal. If these politicians have not been, talking about this in the way that they are doing, disrespecting Russia's law, talking about she's unlawfully being detained, we wouldn't have been where we are today. Russia would have probably given her maybe a few weeks, who knows, right? And would have released her. But it is because of the way they are acting, these politicians, that this woman is now being used as a political pawn. The second reason why Russia did what they did, Biden comes out, right? And I talked about being disrespectful, but it goes further than that, right? So he comes out and talk about, as soon as she was sentenced, Biden comes out and talk about she needs to be released immediately. The behavior, the way you talk to them. Not only, first of all, you disrespect their law, then the way you start talking to them as though they have to do what you're asking them to do. Zero humility whatsoever. She needs to be released. This is unacceptable. What is unacceptable? Let us be honest with each other. Tell us what is unacceptable here. That she traveled freely to Russia. She got caught with drugs. And that Russia's law applied. What is unacceptable here? Okay, 9 years is a lot. Okay, yes, we understand it. But the way you talk, the way you, disrespect people, not only disrespect the laws, but the people themselves. Now, we are in a situation, keep in mind, that it is not Russia who is asking something to the United States. They've already decided, look, there's nothing we can discuss with America. They don't like us, right? Anything that we do is not acceptable to them. So I guess we don't like each other, whatever, right? So they're not asking anything to the United States. It is us, our politicians, who are out there asking Russia. And look at the way they're talking to them. Seriously. Just look at it. Even if Russia wanted to stop, they're not going to stop now. They're going to, is it unacceptable? Okay, no problem. Let's see what you're going to do about it. Let's see. At the end of the day, it is your tough talk that is not acceptable at this time. Now, if you go behind closed doors, they're being humble. They come out, right, they want to show, we were tough on Russia. No, come on. Seriously. There are issues where, you want to think before you act, right? Tough. Right? Because you don't want to come out, act tough, and then be disappointed when your toughness is embarrassed. Right? You don't want that. In this particular situation, Russia has nothing to lose. The third reason why Russia is doing what they're doing, just listen to the deal that our politicians are giving to Russia. Maybe it's just me the problem here, right? Now, and keep in mind is that there were another prisoner, an American citizen in Russia, serving time there. Now, the United States government didn't think of negotiating and bringing him home. That's the first thing, right? But you have a superstar who went there. Now, all of a sudden, they remember that there was a prisoner there. Now they're saying, hey, look, we won the two prisoners in exchange to one. Just listen to the deal. So Even a child, right, knows very well that this is not even fair. You want two prisoners and you want to give Russia one prisoner. Maybe in politics, in diplomacy, maybe things are different there. But come on, man. Nah, let us be serious. We are in very difficult time. In times where talking to Russia is, I guess, no longer an option for the American government. So you want to be a little bit more lenient, right? You want to be a little bit more nice, not only in asking, but in also in proposing the exchange, right? Give me two, I give you two. That's how I see these things happening, right? You want them to give you two, and you just want to give one, right? What sense does that even make? And this is a joke, right? So once they propose to Russia, right, they give Russia an offer. Russia comes back and say, okay, we want an additional prisoner. He's held in Germany. Right? Listen to their response. They say, the US government say Russia is not being serious because they are asking for two prisoners. Okay, let's say maybe it's not because they are asking for two prisoners. Let's say it's because they are asking for a prisoner who's held in Germany, not in the United States, right? Now, US politicians are acting as though they cannot make Germany give that prisoner. These are the same people who are making the entire Europe, right, suffer, right, for the Ukraine war. They are asking Europe to sacrifice their gas and oil for Ukraine, right? But to give one prisoner, they cannot do it. Oh man. An election year in the United States has become a very difficult year for the regular citizen. Everybody is trying to show how tough they are, right? So you cannot make Germany to give them that extra. Now keep in mind that Russia has already responded with their counter offer. If Russia hadn't even responded, we would have sat down and said, look, we're negotiating. What is there to negotiate? There's nothing to negotiate. If you can force Germany to sacrifice Nord Stream 2, I'm very sure you can make them give that one prisoner. Now all of a sudden, oh no, that's not reasonable. What is not reasonable? I'm telling you what is not reasonable. What is not reasonable is Germany to sacrifice gas when it is clear that they cannot survive without Russian gas. That is not reasonable. Right? That right there is not reasonable. Oil, same thing. Right? That is not reasonable. There's a lot of unreasonable things that Germany has done for the United States against Russia. Germany has sent weapons for the first time to Ukraine for the United States. In this particular case, you cannot ask Germany to give that one prisoner. You can end this matter in a matter of just hours. You can just say, hey, you know what, Russia, we accept. We're going to give you the guy we have here, and we're going to give you the guy in Germany. That's it. Brittney Griners will be here within the next few weeks if they just accept this. It's not like a counter offer is not on the table. And the counter offer that they're asking is not like it's the worst thing anybody can do. Russia does not care about those prisoners. They didn't even ask you about them. You're the one who won those two prisoners. You really just won one, but, right? Just so that people are not going to say, hey, look, why are you putting so much emphasis on Brittney Griner and not on the other prisoner, right? Of course, now you act like you won the two prisoners. If you really want them, why don't you just take this counter offer? Give the one you have, who's spending the 25 years, and then add the one in Germany. So that this whole thing can end, right? At least months before the elections. Trust me, the American people would have forgotten the embarrassment, right? They would have forgotten by the time we get to November. And most importantly, we don't even care much about all of that. Americans people care more about, gas prices, food prices, and all that stuff. That's really, really important here. Let us be honest here, man. Seriously, right? At one point in time in life, right, we have to care for human beings. Not caring for human beings is shooting ourselves in the head and in the heart. We cannot live without each other. We need to respect others. We need to stop this exceptionalism that we think we have, that we are better than others in other countries. That's not true. We are all humans created by one God. Yes, we have different ways of seeing things in life, different laws, different policy. We believe in different things. But that's the beauty of who we are as human beings. How different cultures and different ways of seeing things, right? We make mistakes, right? Laws in Russia may not be as good as the ones in the United States, but it's not with brutality that we will make a change here. Let's care for Brittney Griner and every other Americans who are going through a tough time, whether in Russia or wherever in the world, and be humble in respecting other people's laws. Thank you very much for listening to my video. I like to say that I'm not a politician. I don't do politics. I'm simply a philosopher.